I'm joined here today by our police chiefs, our district attorney, our judges, school superintendent, marshal's office, all in a show of unity on how serious an issue we're about to talk about and how much we need everybody's help. We're going to talk about problems that we're seeing in our young people and how we think we can go about addressing it with your help. We need to explain what it's all about. We received complaints from parents in recent days about a serious issue involving children. Young people are sending and receiving nude or partially nude photos to or from their peers on their cell phones, computers, or social media sites. My office is currently investigating cases involving youth in our area that could result in criminal charges and arrests. While I can't discuss the specifics of such cases, I will say that as the chief law enforcement officer of the parish, I'm deeply concerned about what we're seeing in this trend. I want to inform parents and young people of the seriousness and of this type of behavior and the consequences that could ultimately land a teenager in jail. This may seem like child's play, but we want young people and parents to know the consequences of sending, possessing, or distributing nude photos or videos of children so that they can avoid becoming a convicted felon and registered sex offender. Here's the bottom line. If you don't want to get arrested, go to court, go to jail. Remember this: don't take it, don't send it, don't pass it on. I'm the father of 2 grown children. When my kids were young, certainly when we didn't even know what texting was. Things are different now. It's a different world. As we all know, we all have cell phones, and so do most of the kids these days, all the way down to the elementary school level. All of that cell phone and social media usage may be chalked up by saying, oh, it's just kids play, it's not serious, it's no big deal. But it's no longer kids play. When they start sending nude photos of each other, this is a matter we have to address today before it gets any worse. We have to talk about this before a student's scholarship dreams are dashed, before collegiate ambitions are ruined, or before they have a criminal record. The long-term consequences can be devastating when you consider that students can lose their TOPS scholarship or other scholarships, not able to get accepted into the college they want, join the military, get the job they want, all because of a poor choice they made when they were a child. The other side of the criminal behavior is the embarrassment and emotional distress that victims of sexting and child pornography have to face. We're all working together in order to have a proactive approach in addressing this issue. We know this type of behavior is not unique to Bossier Parish or any particular school, but rather a nationwide issue, a social issue that we all must address. We're asking our media partners to help educate and get the word out to parents, students, grandparents on how serious this issue really is. Much of it boils down to personal responsibility. Have self-respect and respect for others. However, if you feel you want to engage in sending or receiving nude photos or videos on your cell phones or post them on social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, or even create websites with these messages, just know this: law enforcement will track you down. We can get subpoenas. We will get your cell phone records. We can get your IP address. We will come find you. We will arrest you. Just because you're in your room with the door closed does not mean we can't find you. Our school resource officers have informed all of us of the escalation in this type of behavior. It's happening to kids in middle, high, elementary schools. Over the coming days, we will all take action to educate our children and parents on why sending nude photos of themselves or possessing any nude photography, photos, can have devastating consequences. Not only have young people been exploited, violated, or embarrassed, the impact on behavioral and psychological growth is affected. We've seen across the nation where these actions have led to suicides. These actions are also criminal and can lead to charges of sexting, which is a misdemeanor, or even pornography involving juveniles, a felony, both which can and will result in jail time. Sexting, Louisiana Revised Statute 1481.11, and I need the media's help. I heard on one station this morning, the anchor referring to it as private sexting. There is no such thing. If you send or receive, you're under 17, both can be consenting. It doesn't matter. There is no such thing as private texting. It is illegal. If you're over 17, and we're not going to get into interpreting the law, but if you're over 17, then it can involve pornography, which can get you 20 years as a convicted felon and registered sex offender for the rest of your life. Here's what else we're going to do about this matter. I'll be sending a letter to the parents addressing this matter and this issue on how serious we're taking it. We will work together to combat this type of behavior among our young people in an effort to keep more kids from getting into trouble, and with the support of parents and guardians, we can succeed. In addition to the letter to parents, our school resource officers and sheriff's office detectives will reinforce to students about the seriousness of this matter. The school system is also going to use its website, its school loop, to inform parents and students of the problem. My hope is this will prompt a discussion between parents and their children. Here are some things parents can do to help prevent some of this texting and child pornography. First, be their parent, get involved, know what they're doing, talk to them, monitor their cell phone and computer, teach them about the dangers associated with texting and child pornography and the criminal charges they could face. Encourage your children not to respond or to forward any of these things. Help your children understand that once they post a photo, it's out there for the whole wide world to see forever. If you know somebody that's been a victim, please report it to us. We want to know about it. We'll get to the bottom of it. Thank you for taking time to help us address this serious issue and the impact it can have on these kids and their families forever. And I certainly will be glad to try and answer any questions and also offer up any of our guests here today, certainly any comments that any of them would like to make or questions you would have for them. I'm sure they would be glad to answer any questions that they can.
So some of the kids think that if they use Snapchat instead of regular texting and everything, that y'all can't track that and that's safe because it disappears. What are your thoughts on Snapchat?
Once it's out there, nothing disappears, and we can track it, and we will.
Sheriff, why now? Why this full court press?
It just seems we got some reports last week. It just kind of seems like it's building steam, and it's not unique to Bossier Parish. It's not unique, and this is not about schools. This is about society. They just all happen to congregate at a particular school between 8 and 3 o'clock. But it is an issue that we just want to try and get out ahead of and make people aware of how serious and what the consequences could be. You could be arrested. You could go to jail. You could have to register as a sex offender for the rest of your life. This is not child's play anymore. This is serious business.
How often are you receiving complaints from the schools?
It's not about schools. It's about the kids and the parents. They just happen to congregate at school, and I really hate to see schools get tagged or labeled as this school or that school. It's just society and kids. They just go to that particular place. It's a brick building, and it's not about the schools. We're seeing and getting more and more calls, inquiries from parents on what does this mean, or is this illegal, or what do we do about this? And that's frankly part of the problem. Some of the parents don't understand the law and how they could possibly be involved.
Have you seen any hesitation from parents coming forward, especially of the senders, because they don't want their kids to be arrested?
Yes. I mean, let's face it, this is an embarrassing situation for everybody. And that's what makes it even more dangerous. It's going on, it's embarrassing, so nobody wants to talk about it. And then instead of being able to stop it early on, it just grows and grows and grows till it completely blows up, and then everybody's devastated.
Sheriff, was there one tipping point? Did somebody call you? Was there an incident that really moved you?
No, not really. We just began to see more and hear more about it, and I met with all these people behind me here, and just said, "Hey, what do y'all think we need to do? We need to make the public aware. We need to make people aware of the consequences, and this is it's going on. It's happening."
Are there any instances for bullying or cyberstalking or some of the charges?
Bullying is, of course, this can lead to bullying, but this, and then that's what I want to focus on. This really not bullying. Bullying is more of a malicious intent to harm. Or everybody's in agreement on this sexting stuff. They think it's fun and games. They don't see the danger or how they're hurting anybody, and that's what we've got to try to get across to them.
We in the Bossier schools applaud Sheriff Whittington District Attorney Skylar Marvin, and the other entities that you saw here today for being proactive in this approach, and we partner with him to assist in educating students and parents about the dangers of these actions. The problem is most students do not fully understand the impact of their poor choices. One spur-of-the-moment adolescent decision to send a photo of a sexual nature can lead to very serious ramifications and consequences, including criminal charges. We don't want any of our students to face these repercussions. We are being realistic about this being a problem across the nation as well as here in our community. It is not a school-specific issue. Based on its prevalence across the nation, I don't know of any middle or high school that is immune from this type of problem. Whereas sexting does not necessarily happen during school hours, it usually takes place in the secrecy of their home. It can become a school issue when the ramifications spill over and impact students. We don't want to see any child face humiliation, embarrassment, harassment, or jeopardize themselves with possible criminal charges. We appreciate all of the entities working together, and we pledge our support as we assist to get students and parents educated about the dangers of this issue.
Superintendent Machin, do you feel that you're part of the whole situation that's going on, that the parents and the home environment is now calculating into this?
Well, I feel that we are all part of this community and we all have an obligation. Our obligation in the educational arena is to educate children, but we also have a moral obligation to protect our children. And so we see that we have a partnership where we too can get involved in trying to communicate to our students and to our parents and using the tools that we have available to communicate. Sheriff Whittington talked about the letter that he will be sending home. We will be sending home a cover letter from the school system as well, but we'll also place that on our school communication system, which is called School Loop. Each of our schools have websites, so we will put that on our websites. We want to saturate our public with the information about the seriousness of these choices. Here again, we feel that most children that are making these choices are making these choices, adolescent choices, not fully understanding how they set themselves up for ramifications and consequences later. And so we want to do our part in getting that message to our students and our parents.
Do you think that maybe the sheriff's office is going to have to make an example of one kid to actually get an impact made?
Well, we would hope that no child would have to be made an example of, but we do understand that just as with any other law, that when we take the initiative to educate our public about the violations and what can happen there, they're going to have to face the consequences if they continue to do so. School systems have had responsibilities for past several years of communicating to children the types of responsibilities as they mature into young adults that they will face in our society and how to better equip them to be successful community members. And here we just add this new phase of that education to our schools.
Are you seeing any particular age breakdown? Are they doing it at a younger age? Is it teenagers? Is it preteens?
I think that you could probably say, if you look across the nation based on what we are reading and seeing, that it is beginning, the focus is mainly in the middle school and the high school arena. And that at one time it could have probably been indigenous to the high school, but we see now that it is filtering down into the middle school arena, pre-adolescent, adolescent age.